There is something profoundly wrong in our country.
They're eating the dogs.
For extra long shows without ads and extra content, go to patreon.com/RegilioV everything for everything.
And welcome. How's my voice sound? Little scratchy?
Yeah, a little bit. You had a bit of a time, huh?
What a crazy week I've had.
Yeah.
Where to start? I guess from the very beginning. So I was born basically blind in my right eye.
Right.
And I have a condition called keratoconus. Which is almost unheard of, that you have it severely in one eye and not at all in the other.
Oh, wow.
It's usually in both eyes, and it's a cone shaping of the cornea. The cornea is so misshapen that you can't see anything out of it. It is just a blurred, warped mess. And nobody even knew what it was when I was a kid. Like they called it like an anomaly. Like you got an anomaly in your eye. I was like, who?
Whoa.
Who's in my eye? And then when I was like 20 years old, I went to Boston, in Boston, there's Mass Eye and Ear, one of the top eye and ear hospitals in the world. And I saw a specialist, and he was the first one that was the first time I heard the word keratoconus, but he said he had never seen it severely in one eye and not in the other eye at all. And he asked me, can I come back the next week? And when I did, no joke, I'm walking down the hall to get to his office, and there's a line of doctors all in lab coats.
No shit.
In the hall, and they stop at my doctor's door.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh boy. And I walk in, he's like, can my associates look at you? And just one after another, they looked in my eye and were like, what the hell? I have never seen this before in one eye and not the other. Just absolutely insane. To which I was like, well, can we at least name it after me? Like, can we have Regilio syndrome?
Yeah. I got the old Regilio eye.
Got the old Regilio eye. So, long story very short, they said there's only one treatment. There's more treatments now, but none of them work on me, which are some contact lenses. But at the time, they said there's one treatment, and that is a cornea transplant, where you take a dead person's cornea and you sew it onto your eye.
Whoa.
But they said because you're so young, these have a lifespan of about 30 years. So you'll have to have it done multiple times in your life. You'll spend the rest of your life on anti-rejection drugs.
Oh.
And so we just don't think that this is the right call for you.
Right.
So as I aged, you
got to a point where they were like, well, how much time do you really got left?
Exactly. That's more or less what happened. Well, I had a cataract in my left eye, which again, a little bit unusual that you'd have it in one eye and not the other. To which I said to the doctor, I said, I have cataract in one eye, not the other, keratoconus in one eye, not the other. Why is that? And he goes, I don't know. You know what a chimera is?
I was going to ask you that. Were you twins that came back together?
Yeah. Did I absorb a twin in the womb? I have no idea, but that's the doctor's best guess. He's like, you're probably a chimera. You probably murdered and absorbed your twin.
And by the way, your twin would have been blind.
Yeah,
so
no kidding.
That's unfortunate. I mean, maybe that's why you ate him.
Yeah, like you're dead. You're dead weight. Come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat
you. And by the way, I don't want to get so dark at the top of the show, but my mom was 3 months pregnant, had a miscarriage, and became pregnant with me like 2 months later.
Oh, man.
So that was one dead baby I got on my conscience. Now I got two.
Man, the QAnon was right. You liberals do eat babies.
Apparently, I have. So that said, they when I went in for the cataract surgery, again, the doctor says, hey, let's talk about fixing that other eye. And I told him, I said, well, I've talked to many doctors about that, and they said that for one, I'd be on the anti-rejection drugs for the rest of my life, and for two, that there's only about a 30-year lifespan on a cornea transplant. And he like smiles and he looks at me and he looks at my chart and he goes, when did they tell you could stop taking that thyroid medicine? I was like, no, never. That's for the rest of my life. Because I also have Hashimoto's disease.
Oh, yeah.
And then he looked at my chart again. He goes, how about the cholesterol meds? When did they tell you that you're coming off that? I was like, no, again, I think I'm on those for life. He goes, so one more pill. Can you handle it? And then he goes, As far as the lifespan goes, cornea, technically, according to American lifespans of men, cornea is going to outlive you. I don't think we have to worry about that.
You got a blunt doctor.
Okay, let's do it. So first, long story very short, first they made me go try on these contacts, which apparently can ameliorate the condition. Doesn't do anything for me. Mine is so severe that it did nothing, to which the insurance company finally said, okay, we'll pay for a cornea transplant. Kind of scary. And then because of just the way it works, the surgeon does only certain numbers of days in the hospital doing cornea or eye surgery. He's a very highly specialized specialist. Plus you got to get the donor cornea and all that stuff. And kind of last minute, they were like, we had a cancellation and there's a donor cornea available. What are you doing tomorrow?
That's wild.
Can you meet with the anesthesiologist today, because we're putting you totally under and we have to make sure it won't kill you. And if you pass the test, you'll have a new cornea the next day. To which I said, sure, I've always wanted to see out of this eye. Sounds like a good deal. And that was on Tuesday. And as of today, I'm like, you know what? I think I was happier. It's a bloody, when I say my eye looks like a demon eye.
Oh, yeah. It looks a little possessed. Yeah.
Yeah. And the healing process, and there's stitches in my eye that they said are thinner than human hair.
Whoa.
Thinner than human hair. Guess what? If you had even the thinnest human hair a bunch of human hair in your eye, you'd feel it. I assure you, I feel it.
Oh,
I feel it. I can't lift anything more than 5 pounds for the next 6 weeks because you don't want to put any pressure in there because it's such a delicate balance. To which I said, so about half the amount I could normally lift. So, okay.
So I'm fine. It's okay. Wow.
So there you have it.
That's fascinating.
I would offer to post a picture on Patreon, but so far of the 3 people I've shown my eye, 2 gagged.
Wow.
So, maybe not. I don't want to do that to anyone.
Unless people really want it. If you really want it.
Yeah. And I will bridge what's going on with you by telling you that they also said that if I go out anywhere, there's going to be wind and dust. I have to wear goggles. Goggles, people. Goggles.
That's amazing. Do you own a pair of goggles?
Not yet. I'm going to have to go get me some goggles so that I can walk around looking like a fighter pilot from the First World War. Because you can't let anything blow in my eye currently. As the doctor said, you basically have an open wound in your eye now. And you have to treat it with caution.
I'm excited for you to be goggled up.
Yeah. So if I was in Ohio last night where there was a windstorm, I would have needed my goggles, which is why we're recording on a Saturday instead of a Friday, because on Friday the 13th, the spirits that be took out your electricity.
They did. We were sitting here just like this, and then all of a sudden I was gone. And what was more annoying is the power went out for like a minute and then came back on. I text you, it's back on. And then I turned on my computer and it went out. It did not come back on until 7 in the morning today.
Wow.
Yeah, the wind was so powerful. I'm not, this is very strange for Ohio, by the way. We, of course, get tornadoes, we get thunderstorms with high winds, but I have never looked at clear skies and seen a windstorm before in Ohio, which, of course, you know, we always like to talk about doom and gloom in the world. But as things heat up, winds will get stronger, storms will get stronger. This was super weird. But yeah, blew down a telephone pole, fell across the street. The whole street was blocked off, ripped it right out of the ground.
Wow. I mean, we get that in LA all the time, the Santa Ana winds. But,
right. That's what it felt like. But here, and it was just so strange for it to be, for winds to be blowing that hard here in Ohio without, you know, a thunderstorm or a tornado.
Yeah.
So it was very strange.
Well, a dark harbinger of things to come.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we'll get on with it. I will just quickly make one note. The reason my voice sounds the way it does is because I had breathing tubes down my throat for hours while I was being operated on Tuesday. I'm not under the weather, but rather I they had tubes down my throat, which inflamed them a little bit. So there you go. That's
kind of cool.
I'll keep everyone in the loop. I have never seen stereoscopically before. I've never seen a 3D.
That's right.
Not only have I never seen a 3D movie, I've never seen a 3D anything.
So it must affect your depth perception a bit too. So this might increase your depth perception.
Absolutely. One would think.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why I wanted to do it. I was like, you know what? I did probably more than half my life with one eye.
Oh, yeah.
Let's try the second shorter half with two eyes and see what it's like. I've always wanted to know, and the opportunity came up to know, and I'm a curious fellow. I feel like in some ways I may have been a different person if I had two eyes. Like, who knows? I could have been a jock instead of a nerd.
I think about that all the time, especially I had my pituitary issue where I was a late bloomer, super, super late bloomer. If I would have been a total normal boy, especially with as big as I am now, after hormone treatment, I might have been a huge piece of shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think about it all the time. I have
it
no
might
idea.
have been to my advantage that I was blind in one eye. I'll just say this and then we'll be done. This is how bad I was at sports because I'm right-handed, blind in my right eye. I used to exclusively, only, with almost no exceptions, strike out in T-ball.
You couldn't see the fucking...
I couldn't hit the ball on the tee.
Wow.
And that is when... it's a longer story, but it was a long story of my father finally accepting that I should not be playing sports. The whole thing came crashing down when I peed my pants in the middle of a game. But the indications...
Yeah, that's a father's future athlete son going right out the window right there.
I'll tell you this though, then we'll be done with the trip down memory lane. So this was not T-ball now. This was the year after they forced me to play, which was actual pitching. So I was so bad that they benched me nonstop, and I was very happy about that. I didn't want to play this game anyway. I was so terrible at it. But the rules was everybody had to play one game. So they put me on shortstop. Yeah. And I was standing out there and I realized I had to pee. And I realized I really had to pee. And as a 7-year-old, I had this brilliant thought. I'll just go a little bit. Just relieve a little bit of the pressure, not realizing that once you turn that on, it's hard to turn it off. Peed my pants, but nobody noticed.
No.
So I had to think quick. And because I am a genius, I came up with a plan. I looked at a kid on third base who had slid into third base. He was covered in dirt. I was like, perfect. And I dropped into the dirt and started rolling around unprompted for no reason, which got everyone's attention. And when I stood up, yes, I was covered in dirt, except for the mud now making a perfect horseshoe in my pants, revealing that I had absolutely peed my pants.
Damn.
My father walked onto the field during play and took me by the hand, and I said, "Where are we going?" And he said, "Art school." And
and the rest was history.
And the rest is history. Okay. Speaking of history, let's start with the history of the 20th century. You might remember a German movement called the Nazis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is it time for Nazi news?
You nailed it. Do you know who Jake Lang is by any chance?
I have seen him making the rounds in social media. I know he was a January 6th rioter who was pardoned and is just out there being a piece of shit.
I wanted to start with this story because this really, Jake Lang summarizes the far right perfectly now. So January 6th rioter, pardoned. Neo-Nazi. I have a picture here of him not only throwing a Sieg Heil, but as part of a protest, he was throwing gold coins at Jewish people at a Jewish
Jesus Christ.
Center. Sieg Heiling, saying Heil Hitler. But, I think it's a little... It's not enough to just say that these far-right idiots are neo-Nazis. Of course they are, But Jake Lang, we found out, well, he's also a sick puppy because he was outed by something of a sting operation. This guy creates those sort of catch a predator situations where he DMs with people and pretending to be a 15-year-old girl. And Jake Lang wrote back to a 15-year-old girl and attempted to arrange a meeting. Screenshots circulating online show Lang asking about the girl's age and continuing the conversation after learning she was underage.
Jesus.
Supporters claim the message may be edited or taken out of context, while Lang has not responded publicly or released his own messages to dispute them. The episode is being cited by critics as part of a broader pattern involving some, I would say just about all, pardoned January 6th participants, because we did carry a story last week about a January 6th rioter who was pardoned, who got life in prison for molesting children.
Yep. The charges were 2 children under the age of 12, which, by the way, that's the general term, under 12. Who knows how old they were?
Yeah.
Definitely under 12.
Yeah. Terrible. And Jake Lake, I will say that this article I was just reading from is, I think, day and a half old now. I think he did release a statement where he said it could have been someone on his staff responding, which is not his way of, there's no denial in there.
If Jake Lang has a staff, I'll kill myself.
No kidding.
What the fuck do you mean his staff?
Right, but trust me, you don't know what, you don't want to know what he means when he says his staff, particularly when texting with 15-year-old girls. But furthermore, it does remind me of when Ted Cruz accidentally liked a porno video on Twitter
on 9/11.
On 9/11, and then blamed it on staff.
And you know what? Credit to Ted Cruz. It was MILF porn.
Yeah, I said,
you know what I mean?
Age appropriate.
Age appropriate.
You should stand behind that, Ted.
Yeah, be like, hey, look at everyone else I work with.
No kidding. He's a Republican, for God's sakes.
Yeah. If anything, I'm proud of him.
Yeah. So guess what? The Nazi news goes on. Unbelievable.
I'll hit one more time.
9.
So we did this is just an update. So we did last week that the president of Turning Point USA's chapter at the Florida International University, they had a text chain where they were praising Hitler, saying misogynistic, violent, and racist stuff.
Yeah, using the word colored people. Yeah. Oh, we stepped down? Oh, thank God.
The president of Turning Point USA's chapter at Florida International University stepped down after leaked WhatsApp messages showed participants posting racist, anti-Semitic, misogynist, and violent comments. The chat allegedly includes slurs, praises for authoritarian figures, and pro-Nazi rhetoric. One participant was reportedly Abel Cavalha, secretary of the Miami-Dade Republican Party, prompting calls for his resignation. FIU President Jeanette Nunez said the university is treating the situation seriously and that the campus police and law enforcement have opened a criminal investigation.
Jesus.
I'll remind everyone one more time, Charlie Kirk followed me on Twitter for some reason.
That is interesting.
Which I used to think was a brag. It's like, oh... But now it's like, I don't think I wanted him following me. So there's a little accountability there. He has stepped down. So I am assuming going forward, we'll have no more problem with these young Republicans. Let me just check the next story here. Oh, nope. College Republican extremist hire. College Republicans of America, that's a different group altogether, named far-right influencer Kai Schwarmer as political director. Researchers say Schwarmer previously associated with white nationalist Nick Fuentes and identified as a groyper. Critics argue the appointment reflects the normalization of extremist rhetoric among some of the young conservatives. Schwarmer has reportedly tried to downplay those connections publicly, while critics say his past social media posts include homophobic memes and references to, wait for it, Hitler.
Every time. God, they love that guy. They love that guy.
Every freaking time. They love that guy.
Yeah.
And I'll point out one last time and then never again that I was challenged to debate somebody who said that they were going to destroy me over my narrative that the GOP has a Nazi problem. And I was just quoting Laura Loomer, by the way.
Yeah.
And when I sent him the list of things I wanted to talk about, he disappeared. And the list grows and grows and grows and grows.
Because wasn't that 6 months ago at this point? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no kidding.
I feel like we have a story every week.
And I just thought this was very interesting, so I added it not quite to Nazi news, but as a bridge into as where we're going with this. But did you know? This is mind blowing. Do you remember we did the story on the 2,000 white South African refugees brought to America to get out of the terrible and dangerous and racist against white people South Africa?
Yeah, escaping white genocide, as they called it.
Yeah. So we brought 2,000 in. 1,000 have reclaimed their South African citizenship and are moving back to America. They said, about to South Africa, citing America is too violent.
Oh, no. What does that mean? Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. In fact, 12,000 international South African expats who are white have all applied to be repatriated back into South Africa. What happened, Donald Trump? I thought it was such a terrible place. Half of them are moving back to South Africa because they don't want to live in Donald Trump's America.
That's insane. That's insane. What do they even mean too violent? I always thought, South Africa's not exactly a fucking, because of mainly the white people there, a good place. So fuck me. That's, are we just used to it? That might be it. We're just used to America. So we're like, what do you mean?
Well, no, mass shootings in general, and plus the political strife here is far more divisive currently in America than it is in South Africa, I'd imagine. I can't imagine it being more divisive than here. I can't imagine anywhere being more divisive than here.
Yeah. It's weird because the MAGA movement has oddly weaseled into parts of Europe and, certain places in Canada. But no, this is where it came. This is where the virus started. So yeah, it's obviously going to be the worst.
And I'll point out, just because I mentioned it to you before we started recording, that there's the Louis Theroux documentary about the manosphere on Netflix now.
Oh, yeah, I gotta watch that.
These were names that I only knew from us covering them, particularly when they all went to a dance club in Miami and played the Heil Hitler song. And there was, and I was like, who is Sneeko? And who is this guy? And who's that guy? They're all covered in it. And they're all raging anti-Semite, scared little boys who didn't have daddies. It is so... I watched and I was like, oh, they're just fucking losers. They're losers who work out a lot and have good bodies and hang out with the dumbest girls in the world. And they're just losers. It was really informative. And I truly, Travis, was surprised at their anti-Semitism.
Considering everything we cover, that's it is shocking. It's shocking.
Yeah, they blame everything on the Jews. It's insane.
I know, and of course that's why it was so annoying when places like Stop Jewish Hate, certain places were calling lefty people anti-Semitic. When I'm like, dude, the call is coming from across the aisle. How are we not seeing that?
Well, that's because of the conflation of anti-Israeli policy, the government of Israel, with anti-Semitism, which is intentional in order for the Israeli government to silence critics. By
Netanyahu specifically.
Yeah. So, in fact, several posts I made this very week about the war in Iran had people calling me an anti-Semite.
Well, it is a fucking holy war that, according to Marco Rubio, we played a clip the other week. Iran was going to, or Israel was going to do it, so we had to do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Lindsey Graham called it a holy war. They're calling it a holy war. Anyway, we'll get into Iran in a moment. But just sticking with Nazi news, I will hit you with one Mr. Donald Trump. He's talking about, with one Mr. Brian Kilmeade of Fox News. He called in and he voiced what he thought part of the problem with the people coming into America are. I think now I'm going to, as always, I always steal, man. That this fat, blubbery piece of shit. I think the question was about the terrorist attacks that we've had in the last week. One at a synagogue, another at a university.
Yeah.
Both seem linked to Iran. They seem to be, again, we're back with Islamic terrorism in America because Donald Trump decided to open that Pandora's box again.
Yep.
So I am steelmanning in that he was talking about that, but he makes an argument against the people coming into America that he has a problem with that we haven't made in the Western world since the Nazis, because we understand that genetically we're all the same, and that hate and bigotry, these are learned. They are not genetic. But Donald Trump makes the eugenics argument to a literal dummy who, look, I'm saying populations don't have bad genes, but people do. And Brian Kilmeade and Donald Trump do. So two genetic morons, genetically inferior people making the argument against genetics. But let's go ahead and listen to Donald Trump making a literal Nazi argument.
So bad, something wrong. There's something wrong there. So the genetics are not exactly, they're not exactly your genetic. It's one of those problems, Brian. It's a terrible thing, and it happens. And it happens too often. A lot of more.
It happens.
There you go.
Jesus, you can hear him start to like expound upon it. His pudding brain kind of wouldn't let him move through whatever Stephen Miller had whispered into his ear earlier that day.
Well, sir, they are genetically inferior to us. Some of them even have hair, and disgusting. That's why Stephen Miller considers, he thinks he's furthest from the apes. You know, that's their whole thing. Is, they're closer to the apes. Like, so these hairy mongrels with hair all over their heads. Some of them even have defined jawlines, like some gorilla. Not like me with my hairless body and jawless, disgusting face. Guy literally looks like a gray. No wonder he thinks he's superior.
He does. He's got a tiny little mouth, just like they say the grays have. You know, he's got a perfectly egg-shaped head. It's tough.
Okay, so this moves me into some other news that hit this week, having to do with some of the DOGE bros. We got some information.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that almost sounds like a instrument. The DOGE bros. He plays a DOGE bro. Anyway, so
it's a real thick bass.
It's a whiny little.
Oh yeah, it's
tinny little worthless instrument. Okay, so I'm going to introduce this story, and I'm going to let Rachel Maddow tell a story for us last week. I'm going to let former press secretary to one Mr. Joseph Robinette Biden, Jen Psaki, tell the story because she told it rather well. And I think it gets us both out of the Nazi news and into the next bunch of news, because all of them, their Venn diagrams, they just cross over so perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
Clyburn. And last year, at the ripe old age of 25, he appointed to a senior advisor role inside of the Trump administration. There you see him right on the screen. He had no obvious qualifications or relevant experience, but he was one of Elon Musk's DOGE lackeys. You know, the ones that helped Musk gut the federal government under the guise of efficiency when all they really did was fire federal workers, sow chaos, shut down entire agencies, and effectively kill hundreds of thousands of people around the world by depriving them of aid. Remember that? Well, upon joining the Trump administration, young Gavin even wrote an article titled "Why I Joined DOGE," in which, according to Mother Jones, he credits an article by Ron Unz for radicalizing him, then later deleted that article when it was brought to his attention that Ron Unz's other writings included Holocaust denying and racism, saying he was not aware of Ron Unz's more unsavory views. Now, other online posts by Clyburn disappeared down the memory hole, reportedly, including ones boosting white supremacists and neo-Nazis, calling Hillary Clinton a slur, and demanding military tribunals and executions of undocumented immigrants. According to ProPublica, as a federal employee, Clyburn was also accused of ignoring prohibitions against taking actions that could benefit him financially, in potential violation of federal criminal ethics laws. And then he reportedly helped fire the ethics lawyers who had warned him. But DOGE is now gone, and Clyburn with them, so all's well that ends well, right? Oh, Here's today's headline from Reuters. Pentagon taps former DOGE official to lead its AI efforts. Of course, because these are the times in which we live, Gavin Clyburn is now at the center of the military's most ambitious efforts in artificial intelligence. Just days after Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth blacklisted the tech company Anthropic for not allowing the Pentagon to use their AI to create killer robots and conduct mass surveillance against Americans. So as AI technology continues to grow exponentially with virtually zero limits or guardrails, heralding in a new era of warfighting in which bombs can drop at the speed of thought, the Trump administration puts that guy at the helm. What could possibly go wrong?
Cool, man. Real cool. It's fucking great.
I mean, what do you even say to that?
I mean, so excited to fucking die. I don't know.
How is it that every time the story is this person's a racist, Nazi, idiot, piece of shit, corrupt to the core, the end of the story is, and they've been promoted in the Trump administration.
And now he's in charge of AI murder robots and surveillance programs. That's crazy.
Which I guess it's as good a time as any to mention that does seem to be what happened with the girls' school that America bombed and killed.
No, Iran shot a missile they don't have at themselves. Everyone knows that.
And it just happened to be the week after Anthropic told Pete Hegseth, do not use AI technologies for autonomous weapons. They are not there yet. He said, Anthropic's out. We're not going to work with you. And a week later, what appears to be what happened is they used AI targeting information and they targeted a girls' school and killed 169 girls and some teachers as well. That said, these are morons. These are the worst. Yeah. This is a kakistocracy. These are the worst people. We are led by the worst people imaginable.
By the way, I'm seeing the defense of this. First off, everyone is saying that it was their bomb, blah, 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 that actually blew up the girls' school. That's not true. But then the twist, because they're always trying to pivot, is that, well, Iran intentionally builds schools next to their military bases so that they get hit instead of the military base, right? The human shield argument. But I live here in Dayton, Ohio with Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, one of the biggest air forces. If you Google schools, if you zoom into Wright-Pat, there are 5 schools all around it because that's just how fucking towns work. I mean, my niece went to school across the street from the military base in Vegas. Like, they're just right there because that's how schools and civilizations work.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact that anyone is making a defense of this is disgusting.
It's gross.
These are disgusting people.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead with disgusting people because now we're on to Doge Bros. And there was a deposition of several of the Doge Bros. And we got a look at them and what they were all about. And
well, yeah, it's great.
When I say look at them, they're children.
I know it's troublesome.
Yeah. So why don't we start with this Doge Bro and we'll tell his story as we go along. So this is the deposition of Doge Bro Justin Fox explaining DEI and how he was able to cancel every program in America that somehow met his definition of DEI. What's his definition of DEI? Oh, let's find out.
The EO explicitly laid out the details. I don't remember it off the top of my head.
It's okay. I'm asking for your understanding of it.
Yeah, my understanding was exactly what was written in the EO.
Okay. So can you...
I don't remember what was in the EO.
So right now, do you have an understanding of what DEI is?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your understanding as you sit here today in this deposition?
Well, it was exactly what was written in the EO. And so anytime that we would look at a grant through the lens of...
EO is executive order.
Yeah.
Trump executive order read something like, fake news, get rid of the DEI, trans people, they're eating the dogs. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Like, whatever poorly written EO. Oh, it was in the EO. Dude, what is DEI? You canceled billions of dollars of funding because it was DEI. What is the definition of DEI? It's a simple question. Answer it, you fucking moron.
Yeah.
Applying with an executive order, we would just refer back to the EO and assess if this grant had relation to it.
Okay, but I guess stepping back from your methodology strictly in terminating the grants, do you have an understanding as you sit here today of what DEI means?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your understanding of what it means?
Well, it is exactly what was written in the EO.
Okay, so
For God's sake.
And I don't have the EO in front of me, but that was we would always reference back to the EO and make sure that this grant was in compliance with.
I thought DOGE, by the way, sorry to interrupt again, but I thought DOGE was supposed to be young Elon Musk trained geniuses, and that's why he fucking recruited them. This guy can't even remember a fucking few sentences, allegedly.
Yeah, what did it say in the EO? I don't remember.
Well, I thought you were a genius. I thought you were some sort of super child or something, man. Come on. Good God.
okay, but I'm not asking necessarily about what was in the EO. I'm asking very specifically about your present understanding of what of DEI. Do you have a present understanding of DEI?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you explain what that present understanding is?
Well, it is just easier for me to be referencing back to the EO.
Are you refusing to answer the question?
I'm not refusing to answer the question.
Okay.
I just feel that referencing back to the verbatim executive order was the best way for us to capture all of the DEI language. And so I think giving a high-level overview of what I could relay as DEI is not going to do justice what was written in the EO.
And that's okay. We can look at the EO as well.
Great.
I'm asking you this is a deposition. I'm asking you questions. You're under oath. And
Yeah.
You're required to answer them. So what is your understanding of what DEI means?
Well, I think I would say, again, that I would go back to the EO to make sure I'm capturing enough. I don't feel comfortable saying a high-level overview because it is such a...
Okay, like we could keep going, and I suppose we should, but this is mind-blowing.
Dude.
They ran on anti-DEI, and he's asking this moron who canceled billions of dollars in grants because they were DEI, what is DEI? I don't run on anything, but I shout from the rooftops a number of policies about taxing the billionaires, about universal health care, universal college. I could explain what that means. I truly could. If you asked me, I wouldn't go, well, Bernie, I'd go back to Bernie Sanders' speech. He does a better job than me. Like, I could actually tell you what these things I believe. And if I was actually empowered to work on policy, much less cutting grants, I would really be able to talk about it. This guy's, but he's a genius. He's a genius. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not a genius.
He does talk, by the way, exactly like Thiel and Musk do in interviews. That, like, I think it's how stupid people think smart people are. Like, so genius that they're in their head and they're like ethereal. You know what I mean? Like, but he's just kind of a fucking moron.
Big bucket, and there's just a lot of pieces of the puzzle.
What's a part of the bucket?
Gender fluidity, sort of promoting subsets of LGBTQ plus that might alienate another part of a community.
White man.
Make me feel bad.
Again, it was just easier for us to reference back into the EO.
Okay, so...
And I don't want to give you a broad overview because it's like, at the end of the day, it is capturing, it is all encompassing in the EO. It's how we did our methodology.
Right. Do you always refer to EOs to gain an understanding of words used in your typical daily vernacular?
Objection.
What do you mean?
You say that you have an understanding of what DEI means, and when I ask you, you say you need to reference the EO. Do you need to reference EOs to define every word you use in your everyday life?
Objection.
I'm going to point out the reason he has to keep answering those is that there's a court official in the room and his lawyer's objecting and the court official's going, nope. You know, like it's so fast. Like, no, you have to answer that obvious question. You don't get to object to this. You
Yeah,
terrible
they're not even, by the way,
being.
they're not even saying no to the objections. There's no audio, so it sounds like the person's just shaking their head like, absolutely not.
Yeah, just keep answering. No, nice try.
Wild.
Okay, so what's stopping you from defining DEI to your understanding as you sit here today on January 28th, 2026?
It wouldn't be capturing enough of how.
Okay, Justin Fox, you are a complete and total fucking piece of shit. Fuck you.
My God,
these are the people that cut USAID, which we now know thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people are going to die in the world because of. So he does finally talk about one specific program he cut for being DEI. And I'm just going to play that and then we'll move away from this moron because actually looking at his face is, I'm getting that sensation where I want to punch his face.
Very punchable face, yeah.
Very punchable, but I never would. I'm not saying that. Just saying. And I've been told I have a punchable face. I've been told that as I get older, I have a less punchable face. So
fair. I think it's fair.
But that said, so here he is finally going to talk about a DEI project that he cut.
Holocaust survivors, DEI.
Okay, so I need to start that again because it gets cut off at the beginning. He says, how is a documentary about female Holocaust survivors DEI? A documentary about female Holocaust survivors. How is that DEI? That is the question he is answering.
It's the gender-based story that's inherently discriminatory to focus on this specific group.
It's inherently discriminatory to focus on what specific group?
The gender-based, so females during the Holocaust.
And you believe that that's inherently discriminatory?
I'm just saying that's what it's focused on.
Sure.
And this is related to DEI.
Right. But you just used the term inherently discriminatory. What did you mean by that?
It's focusing on.
Why is it?
So there you have it. A documentary about women forced into slave labor camps by the Nazis is discriminatory against who? I wish they'd ask that question. Who is against straight white men hanging out in America? How come they don't mention us?
Why don't they talk about us at all?
You're not part of the story. Like, do you understand that World War II is a big story? You got to take it piece by piece by piece, and the story will still never be done being told. You could take it from a trillion different angles. It affected so many people. You could literally do a documentary on, I don't know, candlestick makers in Netherlands and how they were affected by the Nazis. And you could make a 2-hour documentary about that. You could, any angle. Jewish women forced into slave labor camps. He cut the funding and killed the documentary because it was DEI. These people are fucking garbage. And if I get upset, my eyeball will literally pop out of my head. So I have to calm down.
I am really worried about your eye. Yeah. So I'll just breathe. You know what? I wish someone would ask him, be like, are you upset about all those, they didn't focus on all those poor Germans that were killed during World War II?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What about all the Nazis that got killed?
Yeah. Why aren't people sad about that? Tough.
Okay, so, geez. I think I need to calm down. What could possibly calm me down? Well, I have an idea.
Okay.
Since we've already been talking about these right-wing lunatics, which we talk about quite a bit on this show.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see the footage of the Marine who stood up to protest the war in Iran and was not just escorted out, but violently escorted out, and they broke his hand or his arm? I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, I believe he was holding onto a door, and a piece of shit tackled him, it looked like, or attempted to, and broke his arm. Yeah, I did see that, unfortunately.
A sitting United States Senator, Senator Sheeny, jumped in to assist. And he went on Fox News to talk about why he felt it was necessary to assist in removing this Marine from the hearing, which, you know, when these people stand up and shout at hearings, it is expected. It's not like they think they're going to give them the mic. They're expecting to be escorted out. They know that that's the way it goes. So I don't think the man was exactly expecting them to roll out the red carpet. I don't know that he was expecting to be brutalized as he was, but when this guy explains why they had to do it, I can't believe he isn't hit by lightning. I can't believe that the ironic-o-meter of the universe doesn't explode. Please listen to Senator Sheeny, who may be as dumb as Mark Wayne Mullen. Okay.
Ooh, that's tough.
That's tough. Let's listen to what he had to say.
To an incident, you helped police remove a protester from a hearing on Capitol Hill. I fully approve, Senator. I'm glad to see you did this. But why don't you take us through it? Show us what happened.
Well, listen, it's unfortunate. Obviously, we never want violence anywhere, especially in our government buildings. But normally our Capitol Police, we let them do the job, and they do a great job. But in this case, this guy was making it impossible. Two of them had to be treated for injuries afterwards. And, of course, unfortunately, in 2026, we know what most people do when the cops are in trouble. They pull out their cell phones and they film it instead of helping out these officers who are being attacked by this guy. So hopefully this gentleman gets the help he needs without further violence. But we're always going to stand with our law enforcement. And in this case, they needed a hand, and I decided to help him out.
I got to tell you that...
Okay, let's just be clear. A Republican who, by the way, I looked it up. I cannot find him ever saying anything about Donald Trump pardoning the January 6 rioters who attacked and are partially responsible for the death of Capitol Police officers, certainly the injuries of. He's never said a word about them. Suddenly standing up for Capitol Police and saying, we never want violence in government.
Even though he did violence.
Even though he did violence, and he is part of the January 6th crowd.
Of course.
You should see them storming the fucking Capitol, Stuart Varney, you British piece of dog shit.
Interrupting the proceedings. And I think you did the right thing. Get him out of there, you know?
Well, listen, everyone in this country, of course, has the right to freedom of speech, but they don't have a right to attack our law enforcement officers. They don't have a right to show up and physically assault other people, let alone our law enforcement officers. So that crossed a line, and whether he was protesting for Hamas, which he was, whether he was protesting for the NRA, I don't care. His actions were unacceptable, and I would have done it no matter who he was protesting for.
Nicely done, Mr. Senator. You're all right. Thanks.
What a piece of shit. Nicely done, Mr. Senator. You're all right. And also the spin. He was protesting for Hamas by saying he doesn't want his tax dollars to attack Iran.
By the way, Hamas has nothing to fucking do with Iran. I'd like to point out that is the small militant group inside of Palestine. So,
well, no, they're allies. I would say that there's an argument to be made that Iran has funded Hamas.
They also just know that word triggers the dumbest people alive. It's almost like when people have talked about the most recent terrorist attacks and they say they were ISIS attacks, even though that's a whole other fucking group. Yeah. You know, ISIS just sounds cool, like a G.I. Joe villain. So they know in the minds of stupid people it goes,
he was protesting ISIS for Hamas. No, he was protesting against the illegal war. And you could say whatever you want about the war. It is illegal. You have to declare war. Only Congress can declare war. Now, I will say, Congress has not declared war since World War II. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, at least George Bush spent a year, got congressional approval. He got the use of force in Iraq bill passed. He went to the UN. He got a resolution passed. He sent in inspectors. Donald Trump just attacked somebody without asking Congress and now he's asking for more money.
Yep.
So when I say illegal war, I mean illegal war, far worse than all the other illegal wars we've had in the past. I think you should have to ask, it's not a war. We killed their leader, bombed their cities. How is that not war? I don't understand what is a war.
I hate that's been driving me crazy seeing that online too. Of people like, there's no people on the ground, therefore not a war. I'm like, that can't be how that works. That's not how that works.
Yeah, and also there were people on the ground in Iraq. We never declared war on them.
Yeah, I mean, hell, Japan allegedly declared war on us, but they never were on the ground. They just used planes at Pearl Harbor. So technically, not a war. What the fuck are we talking about?
Who knows? I guess we'll talk a little bit about Iran. I see you have a couple of clips related to that.
I do. I have our favorite senator of all time, Lindsey Graham. Let's see what he has to say about this conflict.
Anti-Semitites, to all the isolationists, I don't believe. Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day. They're the best ally we could hope for. So we have a commander-in-chief in President Trump, who I think is Ronald Reagan plus.
He always says the worst thing.
Hey, Lindsey, why don't you just admit that you're gay and then people won't blackmail you anymore?
The best clip. By the way, this is just for anyone out there that doesn't know, like, the sentiment that other Republicans have for Lindsey Graham. Here's Tim Burkett when being asked about some horrible shit that Lindsey Graham has been saying.
Ma'am, go ahead, brother.
Senator Lindsey Graham is now calling for the U.S. to start bombing Lebanon in response to the Hezbollah IDF action.
Lindsey hadn't seen a fist fight he hasn't wanted to turn into a bombing raid, so I just take it with a grain of salt, dude. Yes, ma'am. That's a good quote.
You compliment himself at the end there. That's
I
a
like
good
that
quote.
He called the reporter dude.
Yeah, throwing a dude. He really went more Texas than he normally does, too. He really went, oh, man, he really leaned in.
Just goes to show you. I mean, the Republicans aren't even behind this war. No one is. It's the lowest. And Donald Trump loves the ratings and the polling. It's the worst polling war in American history.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, but so someone somewhere is showing Trump a 90% approval poll that 90% of Republicans approve this war. They have to just be, especially with the way that he's talking and his truth Tourette's. He's not lying. They are showing him these things. Like, remember, he had a small young blonde woman who would follow him around on his golf course and physically print out news stories to give to him. Yeah. They're still doing that. There's still someone always like running to his office like, they don't hate you. Look, 90% approval. And he's going, wow, look at that. I'm amazing.
The most powerful person in the world right now is the White House intern making up this polling data and showing it to him. They're causing World War III. It's some 22-year-old DOGE dude. We've given the keys to the kingdom over to 22-year-old morons who worship Donald Trump.
Who are probably all closeted Nazis or groypers or, well, what's the difference? And are, well, let's say virgins, more than likely, you know?
Yeah. I mean, what is this Pete is a moron clip? Is that
Yeah, that's so Pete Hegseth is doing his best to try to spin this, and let's let the clip speak for itself.
And as the world is seeing, they are exercising sheer desperation in the Straits of Hormuz. Something we're dealing with. We have been dealing with it, and don't need to worry about it.
Don't need to worry about it. That kills me, man.
There are ships burning in the Strait of Hormuz as we speak. Donald Trump telling the story goes so deep, and I'll just take the quickest little side road here where, for one, at first he said that they were going to give a naval escort to the ships through the Strait of Hormuz. And then they said when some shipping companies reached out to America and were like, can we get that naval escort? They were like, no. And then they switched it to, we will insure your shipment. The United States of America will turn into an insurance company suddenly.
Somehow.
And to which the shipping companies were like, well, there's this other thing other than just the price of the product, the lives of the people on the ships that I know this doesn't matter to you, but we care about these people.
Yeah. Which, by the way, is why we're not doing a naval escort, because they would immediately bomb our aircraft carriers. I mean, that's so dangerous. And it would kill a shitload of Navy people.
Well, let me be clear about the Strait of Hormuz. So I did a little research into this so that I could speak with some authority, not much, obviously. I'm no naval expert. But Strait of Hormuz is it's so narrow and that it is all territorial waters. There's no international waters there whatsoever. So Iran runs the entire coast of the Strait of Hormuz, whereas I think Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates control the other side of the... But since the international waters start at 30 miles out?
Yeah, and this is much thinner than that.
Yeah, it's much thinner than that. So Iran has territorial claim to the whole thing. It is their waters. There is no international waters in which American ships could go through. In order to get into the strait would be to A, be in Iranian waters, inside their territorial waters, and B, well within striking distance of all their weaponry. Even the weaponry inland, hundreds of miles inland, could still strike ships in the Strait of Hormuz. So it is an incredibly dangerous proposition that we're going to send the Navy into the Strait of Hormuz. We would be sitting ducks because it is so narrow and the shipping lanes are such that you have to go through very slowly.
Yeah, it's a bottleneck. I mean, it is a militarily worst case scenario. It is one of the biggest reasons why even the neocons back in the day were like, we probably shouldn't funk with Iran. Especially, I mean, that's not even to mention their topography in general and the size of the fucking country.
Right.
It's so mountainous, impossible to invade. This is a fucking nightmare.
And by the way, we now know that Iran has submersible drones. So they're not just in the air, they're under the water now too. And the U.S. Navy, again, in case people haven't been paying particular attention, it's not just the Navy, the U.S. military. We are designed to fight giant enemies, and these cheap drones are proving to be quite the bee in the bonnet. This is asymmetrical warfare, which is what Iran is doing right now, which is they know they can't beat us in a straight fight, so they add all these elements in, such as the drones, the cheap drones, which they can fire almost endlessly. That becomes actually not just a military battle, but a financial battle, where they fire a $30,000 drone, and then we fire $3 million worth of missiles to shoot it down. In the end, we end up spending hundreds of billions to shoot down a couple. It's just, even with our inflated budgets, it becomes untenable for us to fight this warfare in such a way.
Oh yeah. Oh, and even if we do get boots on the ground, Iranians are gonna do things like they're doing in Russia's fighting Ukraine. So in Ukraine, they're using these small wired drones that cost like $10.
Yeah.
Using them in ways just to disrupt their equipment. So they're using cheap warfare. So the moment we hit the ground, I mean, the price difference in fighting this war we'd go bankrupt, which is probably going to happen no matter what. But, what can we do?
Basically, Iran has spent 40 years planning for what happens when America invades, and Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump spent an afternoon planning to invade.
Yeah, which is why we don't have to worry about it. Pete just told us we don't have to worry about it.
Right.
Let's see what else this idiot has to say.
We're on plan to defeat, destroy, disable all of their meaningful military capabilities at a pace the world has never seen before.
You have said that the U.S. military has essentially aerial superiority, naval superiority over Iran, yet we're not escorting ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Why? How did you not plan for this?
We planned for it. We recognize it.
Okay.
Because ultimately, we want to do it sequentially in a way that makes the most sense for what we want to achieve, and ensure that we're sending the right signals to the world when we do so. The Strait of Hormuz is something we've paid attention to from the beginning. and the American people can rest assured we will ensure that our interests are advanced, no doubt.
That tells me he learned what the Strait of Hormuz was right around the time the rest of us did.
Yeah, that was verbal diarrhea. That man said absolutely fucking nothing.
What's the over-under that he doesn't know what the word sequentially means, by the way?
Well, we have talked about the fact that he went to Ivy League school, so he is a confusing one.
Yeah, he really is, man.
But as long as we're talking about him, and in that very same press conference, he also promoted a little of fascism in the takeover of the press, which we've talked about before. How you do fascism in the 21st century is you don't kick in the door of the newspaper with machine guns and smash the printing press on the street. You just have your billionaire oligarch friends buy the press that you don't like, take it over, as we've seen with CBS. Their reporting has been terrible for the most part on these matters. And he literally says that about CNN. As we know, we talked about this previously. Paramount bought Warner Brothers, which owns CNN. And yet, so the Ellisons, who are not just in the pocket of Donald Trump, but also very much in the pocket of Benjamin Netanyahu, now own almost all the press in America. And Pete Hegseth, who should be pro-First Amendment, says the quiet part out loud in that same exact press conference.
In the press, just can't stop. Allow me to make a few suggestions. People look up at the TV and they see banners, they see headlines. I used to be in that business, and I know that everything is written intentionally. For example, a banner or a headline, Mideast war intensifies, splashing on the screen the last couple of days, alongside visuals of civilian or energy targets that Iran has hit, because that's what they do. What should the banner read instead? How about Iran increasingly desperate? Because they are. They know it, and so do you.
He's literally telling them what to write. Let's have him keep going.
Wild.
Or more fake news from CNN. Reports that the Trump administration underestimated the Iran war's impact on the Strait of Hormuz.
For sure.
Which they clearly did.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Patently ridiculous, of course. For decades, Iran has threatened shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. This is always what they do, hold the strait hostage. CNN doesn't think we thought of that. It's a fundamentally unserious report. The sooner David Ellison takes over that network, the better.
Fuck me.
The sooner our allies in the press, who will destroy truth and freedom of press, the better.
It made me feel ill. How's your eyeball doing? It's gonna pop out of your face. Fuck me, that's horrible.
Let's just say it's a good thing we only do this once a week.
Yeah, I mean, I think about like Minority Report, guys like that, Secular News, those dudes. Man, every day they got to do this. Every day. Whew, that's going to hurt.
So why are we in Iran? It's a very good question, one that cannot easily be answered. We now know that the Iranians were offering Donald Trump a better nuclear deal than they offered Barack Obama.
Yes. Yep.
They were going to stockpile 0 enriched uranium.
Right, not even for their own personal reactor use.
I mean, honestly, what a win for Donald Trump. If he had come out and said, I did it, I told you I'd renegotiate the nuclear deal, that Obama's deal was terrible, and look what I've done, I have a better deal than Barack Obama. I mean, he might have won the midterms off of that.
Yeah.
So why did he do it?
For sure.
Why did he do it? Now, let's put on our tinfoil hats. But they're not so tinfoil anymore, are they?
No, they're just hats.
Yeah,
they're thinking caps.
Yeah, let's just put on our thinking caps. Jeffrey Epstein's connection to intelligence services are undeniable.
Oh yeah.
Jeffrey's connection, we're on a first name basis with him. Jeffrey,
me and Jeff.
Jeff's connection to Israeli intelligence, undeniable. I mean, we've covered it. He was good friends with Ehud Barak, who was the former prime minister of Israel. The security on one of his Manhattan properties was taken care of by Israeli security services, government security services. They were ones controlling who came and went, the cameras, the microphones, everything. We know that blackmail was his game. Even his best buddy, Howard Lutnick, said that blackmail was his game.
Yeah, that's what he was hired to do, basically. It seems that way.
And people have said, what does Putin have on Trump? Because everything Trump does seems to be to the benefit of Vladimir Putin. Side note, we now have lifted the sanctions on Russian oil. So
good God,
Russia is making money off the war that we're spending money on as Russia is giving Iran targeting coordinates to attack America. We are paying Russia to attack America. That said,
cool.
Does Netanyahu have something on Trump that would compel him to want to do this war? I don't have solid evidence on that yet. I'm working on it. But did you know that our ally, that Lindsey Graham, I just love Israel. They're our best friend ever.
Yeah.
Did you know they blackmailed the president of the United States before?
Really?
Listen to this story.
Benjamin Netanyahu, Bill Clinton, and Monica Lewinsky. Stick around for this one. So in a scandal that has been largely lost to contemporary memory, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was alleged to have blackmailed then-President Bill Clinton by revealing to him that Israel had collected tapes of phone sex calls between the 42nd president and White House intern Monica Lewinsky. The story is worth revisiting amid allegations that Jeffrey Epstein was involved in a long-running Israeli blackmail operation of his own. So Clinton met with Netanyahu in the Oval Office in February 1997. Subsequently, according to testimony Lewinsky gave to the special counsel's office, Clinton's secretary Betty Curry reached out to Lewinsky to invite her to an Oval Office meeting, telling her Clinton, quote, had something important to tell her, unquote. It would turn out to be their final sexual encounter. But Clinton also used the opportunity to tell her that a, quote, foreign embassy had tapped his phone and recorded their conversation, Lewinsky said. Clinton did not specify which embassy, though the meeting with Lewinsky came the month after his meeting with Netanyahu. The special prosecutor's report was far more concerned with Lewinsky's claim of the sexual encounter that day because it contradicted Clinton's claim that they had had only one encounter that year than they were with the fact that a foreign government was spying on the president and letting him know about it. The prosecutor was also interested in Clinton's response, namely that he proposed cover stories. These are cover stories that the two could employ if they were confronted with the tapes. Clinton suggested the pair say they knew they were under surveillance and the phone sex was a, quote, put on for whoever was listening. That's an awfully flimsy idea, but look, he was guilty. The man did not have much to work with. Now in April, Netanyahu and Clinton met again for a, quote, private visit. On a Saturday then in May 1997, Clinton again had Curry invite Lewinsky to the White House. During that visit, he broke up with her, Lewinsky testified. The next fall, so this is fall of 1998, Clinton hosted Netanyahu and Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat for a summit at Wye River, Maryland. Toward the end of the summit, at 7 a.m., after a long night of final negotiations and handshakes, Netanyahu approached Clinton privately to demand the release of convicted Israeli spy Jonathan Pollard, long a cause célèbre of the Israeli far right. That's according to reporting at the time from the New York Times. Now, Netanyahu brought up the sex tapes in the context of the Pollard demand, according to subsequent reporting by Washington Examiner editor Daniel Harper in his book, Clinton, Inc., The Audacious Rebuilding of a Political Machine. He writes, quote, not wanting to directly threaten the powerful American president, a crucial Israeli ally, Clinton was told that the Israeli government had thrown the tapes away, but the very mention of them was enough to constitute a form of blackmail, Halpern reported. The talks almost broke down as CIA Chief George Tenet told Clinton he would resign on the spot if Clinton agreed to the terms. So instead, Clinton agreed to, quote, review Pollard's case. He did not release him. Pollard was eventually freed in 2015 under the Obama administration. Now, on the last day of his first term, Trump pardoned Pollard's handler. Back in Israel, Pollard is now an outspoken supporter of extremist National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, and has called for the full ethnic cleansing of Gaza.
I mean, my God.
So it's their game. They blackmail American presidents.
Yeah. And
That's
clearly
what Israel does.
with impunity, without any consequences or recourse. At least they get away with it eventually. That's unbelievable.
Cui bono. Do you know what that means?
I think it's Sonny Bono's brother. Sorry. I don't.
He also hit a tree while skiing. That's terrible. Terrible way to go. Sorry, Sonny.
R.I.P.
Cui bono is Latin for who benefits.
Ah, okay.
And whenever you see a situation, politically speaking, the first question you should ask yourself is cui bono, who benefits? The war in Iran, cui bono, Israel, more than anyone.
Yeah. We played on this very podcast a clip of Netanyahu through the years, almost like a flash through his life of ever since 1992, him standing in front of a podium and going, Iran is days away from a nuclear weapon. Yep. We got to do something about it. Like he's wanted this for my entire life, basically.
Yeah. And he's also said previously, if we take out Saddam Hussein, that'll be the end of terrorism in the world. If we take out Iran, that'll be the end of terrorism in the world. If we take out Nancy Pelosi, that will be the end. Like he just keeps switching it and people don't pay attention. It's absolutely insane. But look, one has to ask themselves why we are in this war and who benefits. And it's certainly not us. And I will say furthermore that the reporting is now that the Persian Americans, God bless them, who are very much for this invasion, and I understand why. I understand why anyone would want to overthrow the theocratic regime in Iran. I'm an atheist. Yep. I believe we should overthrow all theocratic regimes, including the one in America. Yep. That said, the latest reporting and polling shows that even they are like, okay, this isn't working.
No.
Like there's no support left. Not even Persian Americans are still for this.
Yes.
Iranian dissidents are now like, hey, you killed my niece in Tehran.
Which is exactly how it happened in Iraq. I mean, the Iraqi people were like, good, especially the ones that didn't work for the Ba'ath Party, were like, hell yeah, fuck Saddam Hussein, finally free this oppressive asshole who's killed all my friends and family. And then we started killing their friends and family on accident. And they were like, hey, well, fuck you, get out of here. And then we never did.
Yeah. Okay, so going with the cui bono, who benefits, let's talk about a drone company called Powerus. A drone company called Powerus is planning to go public through a merger with a Florida golf course holding company.
Oh, fuck me.
Backed by Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump, the company produces heavy lift autonomous drones and hopes to scale production dramatically as Pentagon's spending on drone systems grows. Critics say the arrangement raises ethical concerns because the Trump administration is shaping defense policy while family members are investing in companies that will benefit from these policies. Have you ever heard of a drone company merging with a golf course? They're not even trying to hide it anymore.
I know. By the way, this is why I'm upset with intellectual types and people who in the Democratic establishment saying critics say the arrangement raises ethical concerns. Raises ethical concerns? Fuck you.
It's a five-alarm fire of ethical concerns.
This piqued my interest as maybe being a no-no. Are you fucking kidding me? This is crazy. It's so unethical. It's so evil.
Yeah, and I got news for you. Let's see if I can find the other article here. It's not the only. There's multiple. So Eric and Don Jr. invest in military drone company amid Iran war. There's that one. And then I also came across, in addition to the Powerus story, which is, again, a golf company merging with a drone company, because that happens. Eric Trump is also positioning himself alongside a drone manufacturer at a time when federal policy may tilt more favorably towards the sector. He is backing Extend, a $1.5 billion transaction that would bring the company public through a merger with JFB Construction Holdings, a move that could align private capital in an administration that has prioritized defense production.
This is like legal, semi-legal mafia shit. You know what I mean? Like this is the stuff that fucking the mob was into, doing stuff like this.
And other investors in the deal include Unusual Mechanics a separate drone company. So this is a third drone company that added, get ready for it, as a senior advisor to their board, Donald Trump Jr.
Yeah, well.
Shares of JFB, which had climbed more than 450% since September throughout last week. It's unbelievable.
Surely now there's a list of how many boards Donald Trump Jr. is on. Because I feel like we've done stories for the last year and change about all these companies that have just put him on the board. And when questioned about it, especially by ethics committees, which barely exist anymore, they're like, well, you know, we thought he'd be good at it. And you're like, oh, that's why you did it? Because you thought Donald Trump Jr. would be good at something. That's the least likely thing I've ever heard.
Well, unless you've got anything else, there's only one place left to go.
Let me do... Yeah, tell you what. I got two stories, but let's do them after we take our little trip to Epstein Island.
Okay. So, and I think we kind of already went to Epstein Island, by the way, because...
It's hard not to.
The Iran war, not unrelated. If nothing else, it's a distraction from the Epstein list. But the Iran war is going so poorly now, I think to distract from that, Donald Trump should just admit he molested children.
It would, well, clearly, I mean, you know, if this guy at the beginning, what the hell was his name? If Jake Lang can have a team and very obviously talk to children online and no one seems to care, then who gives a fuck? Let Trump rip, you know?
I mean, honestly, I think that the holders on who are still on the Trump train could give a rat's ass what he's done at this point.
I know.
So last week we talked about the fact that a girl said when she was 15 years old, she was raped and beaten by Donald Trump. And the FBI interviewed her 4 times, and then the FBI hid those interviews. They finally came out, and we discussed that. Those were 4 FBI interviews of the person. These are signed affidavits. These are not FBI intake forms, which, again, I've talked about many times, can be dismissed.
Yeah. Right.
So more has come out this week. A newly surfaced document from the Epstein investigation includes an allegation from a victim who said she was 16 when Jeffrey Epstein told her to strip and massage him while Donald Trump was allegedly on the phone. The claim appears in an FBI memo released in a recent document disclosure. The allegation dates to 2004 at Epstein's Manhattan townhouse. The report reflects the victim's statement to investigators and has not been independently proven in court. Well, of course it hasn't been independently proven in court. You're not going to court. I hate when the press fucking hedges like that. And the first thing I have to say, and I have to be careful of my eyeball here, is fuck every moron that goes, Trump never went to the island. All the rapes happened in Manhattan, a block from Trump Tower. They happened in Florida, a block from Mar-a-Lago. Who cares if he went to the fucking island? Your excuses are pathetic at this point. But yet another FBI memo where the FBI interviewed a victim, took her seriously, and said that Jeffrey Epstein raped a girl or molested a girl or sexually assaulted a girl. I'm not sure what legal term we should use here, while Donald Trump was on the phone with him.
Yeah. And Donald Trump's spin is, I was listening to gather evidence because, again, I reported on Epstein. I told the police everything. I was just gathering evidence like a spy. And also, they were neighbors down in Florida. So between Manhattan and them living next to each other in Florida, he didn't have to go to the island.
I'm going to buy a house right down the block from you in Manhattan, and we're going to get a house. It sounds like 2 teenage girls planning out their life when they grow up. And we're going to have an apartment like next door to each other in New York, and then we're going to have a big giant mansions down in Florida right by the beach, and we're going to hang out, and our husbands are going to be friends, and our kids are going to play together.
I mean, because these people grew up so affluent, and the whole, there's the affluenza thing where people grow up so rich they don't give a shit about anything. I think it stunts you so much mentally. I think that's why these guys behave like little kids and do horrible things, and they just never had any growing up to do, because growing up usually requires struggle. And if you've always been killing it because your parents kill it, where's the struggle in your life?
Yeah, no, that's so true. The struggles are where that's when you test yourself as a person.
Yeah. So when you grow, that's when you mature.
Yeah.
And if they never do that, like, no wonder these guys are all these weird sons of billionaires are all into kids. Like, they are kids in the brain. They just happen to be physically aging.
So speaking of Epstein Island, they are finally, although it has been a head scratcher from the beginning, why the Zorro Ranch in New Mexico, where women who at the time were children, teenagers, said that they were sexually assaulted by Jeffrey Epstein, was never searched. There was never a warrant to search the ranch. It was never searched. It was then bought by a Christian nationalist Trump supporter who says he's converting it into a Christian camp for children. Dude, read the room.
Holy
read the room, bro.
Well, it already has all those tiny beds for kids in it.
Oh, man. So
Sorry.
dark. So
Sorry.
dark. But that said, but also doing construction is a very good way of destroying evidence.
Oh, yeah.
One might say. So we know that Congressman Comer, I like to call him Comer Pile of Shit,
I like that.
is too dumb to realize that he's actually indicting or accusing the Trump administration of being responsible for the cover-up in this news story that aired this week.
The federal government asked New Mexico to stop their investigation, I believe back in 2019 of that ranch. So there's just so many questions about how the government failed.
Okay, just not that I need to point this out. Who was the federal government in 2019?
That would be Donald John Trump.
Asking New Mexico to shut down the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's ranch. Okay, just making sure. And by the way, Comer is speaking with one Mr. Jesse Waters.
Mm-hmm. Who just looked perplexed, by the way. He raised his eyebrows like a curious puppy when he said 2019.
I know. He's like, you weren't supposed to say that. You dipshit. You just came on a live television show and said the thing you're not supposed to say. I mean, the look on Jesse Waters' face is like,
it's amazing.
We shouldn't be saying this.
The victims and how government failed in trying to prosecute Epstein sooner. I mean, this whole thing doesn't make sense. Everyone has conspiracy theories on, how Epstein was able to get away with it. Was it because he had, powerful friends? Yeah. Was it because he was an agent? No, we don't know, but we're going to find out. And I'm glad that they're on the ground now in New Mexico searching that property.
Congressman, you said in 2019 the government told New Mexico authorities to stand down investigating the ranch. Do you know what branch of the government?
He's trying to save it.
It was the Department of Justice, I believe, and I believe it was because they I believe it perhaps was the Southern District of New York, because they had taken over the investigation at that point. So, again, these are questions that we have. We want to get the answers, but I will say publicly, I'm glad that the New Mexico authorities are on the ground searching that property. I don't know if there's anything there. I don't think anybody knows, but I do know this, Jesse. It's probably never been searched before very thoroughly.
That's crazy.
The house probably has, but the property hasn't. I do know this. The federal government asked New Mexico to stop their investigation.
And there you have it.
Oopsie poopsie.
Jesse Waters and Representative James Comer saying the quiet part out loud. Donald Trump's Justice Department told New Mexico to stop investigating Jeffrey Epstein.
He tried his hardest, too. Old Jesse Waters, who I don't believe Jesse Waters is an idiot. I do believe he is evil. Really trying to stir the idiot ship in the right direction. So what branch of the government was it in 2019?
Well, because then they can say DOJ, and then that's Bill Barr, and Bill Barr's a traitor to MAGA.
Exactly.
And then they can pin it on him. And then even saying the Southern District of New York, a bunch of New Yorkers. It was Bill Barr and a bunch of New Yorkers, and they were looking out for Bill Clinton.
Exactly. Billy Clinton. The whole time.
And speaking of which, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has repeatedly refused to hand the documents of Jeffrey Epstein's finances over to Congress, even though the files reportedly include suspicious bank transfers and billions of dollars in transactions tied to Epstein and dozens of associates. Did you even know that? I had to dig to find that.
I'd never even heard of that. That's
Treasury
insane. Secretary
Scott Bessent is in control of documents about Epstein's finances, which he is refusing to turn over.
Interesting. And you think that's because of all the money he probably embezzled or coerced out of people he had blackmail on to grow his billions, maybe?
I think because everybody's implicated.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and the money
Scott
doesn't lie.
Besson's buddies and friends and bankers and world leaders. And I mean, the tinfoil hat it's just turning into a hat.
Yeah,
it's just a hat. It's a comfortable, durable, warm hat.
Yeah. Hand stitched by someone who loves you.
Yes.
Knitted, crocheted, maybe.
Yeah. Well, quickly, I'll just go the last stop on Epstein Island that I have, which is that it now appears that a hacker accidentally breached an FBI server in 2023 and discovered files connected to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. According to reports, the hacker initially believed the server belonged to a criminal organization and threatened to report it to authorities because what he found on there was so disturbing. Jesus. And then found out it was actually the FBI.
Oh, no.
The breach occurred after a server at a child exploitation forensic lab was mistakenly left exposed online. The FBI says the intrusion was contained and described it as an isolated cybersecurity incident. And are we not benevolent? 2023, that would have been Joe Biden's Justice Department.
Interesting. I mean, again, everyone is implicated. And, listen, I think the DNC, they've done a lot to trying to get Bill off the hook for all of his wrongdoings. I think they do a lot of fucked up shit just to help the Clintons because they know how much, A, money they raise, and B, popular they were within the Democratic Party.
And maybe C, how much dirt the Israelis have on the Clintons.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, because, you could argue you take down Bill, he takes down everybody else. I mean, if they're all complicit, then there you go.
There's something fishy going on.
Yeah. And it has been going on for, 30 years. It's pretty unbelievable.
Well, what do you got? How are we going to round out the week?
Well, I've got two stories. One is about the present and one is about the future. And of course, this first one, I feel like I'm the only one that's going to be talking about this because I saw this news story and it sent up every little well-crocheted hat I've been wearing, every little signal. So here, let's listen to this clip real fast, and I'll talk about it a little more.
Has issued a warning letter to the maker of Ozempic and Wegovy. The agency says Novo Nordisk failed to report potential side effects in patients who took its blockbuster medications. The FDA cited 3 deaths among the patients, including one who died by suicide. The agency says the company did not report the deaths within the agency's required time frame and that it also failed to investigate or report the suicide. In a statement, Novo Nordisk said it has been working diligently to address the FDA's concern.
Okay, so that may not seem like much to you. You know what I mean? It's the American FDA taking a drug company to task over potential side effects. But why would they make public news over 3 potential deaths? One of them, of course, being a suicide, which I found very interesting, right? That is strange. And of course, when you think of GLP-1s, the weight loss drug, what do you normally think of? Ozempic. Or Wegovy, that's sometimes the second one. And those are made by Novo Nordisk, like what they just said. That is a company out of Denmark. Now, why would they go after these GLP-1s? Especially when they're becoming so popular, they're really helping people, especially with obesity. Well, I saw that Eli Lilly, an American company, in 2025, early 2026, so very recently, and the Trump administration secured major agreements with pharmaceutical company Eli Lilly to slash prices on GLP-1 drugs. Theirs is Zepbound and Mounjaro through their Trump RX program. Prices for some medications were reduced as low as $245 or $350 a month, $50 a month with Medicare. So my thinking is the FDA is now coming after the more popular foreign drug that works apparently better to bolster and push up the Eli Lilly's less effective and less popular drug.
Interesting. And I will point out that I've noticed many times and maybe you remember this, Donald Trump has trashed Ozempic. I call it the fat drug.
Yeah.
Call it the fat drug. And people say, don't I look amazing, sir? And I go, not really. Not really. Yeah. And I was always like, that's boldly honest of him, like trashing a giant pharmaceutical company and their most popular product. But maybe that's because he knew all along we're going to be in direct competition with this Dutch company.
And they've been planning on it for a while to start like a Trump RX thing, which I'm sure somehow is going to. Yeah, it's definitely going to screw people over.
It's just Good RX, which already exists.
Yes,
but except Good RX sells generics, Trump RX name brands only.
Yeah, again, they've made this handshake agreement or a proper agreement now with Eli Lilly. And again, there is a pound in Mounjaro, however you say it, nowhere near as popular as the GLP-1s from Novo Nordisk. So that's my little, I'm just putting on my comfy obvious hat now. And
I like that. We call it the obvious hat.
The obvious hat.
Very good.
I got on my obvious hat. Trump is intentionally trashing Ozempic and a foreign company's product to benefit himself. Go fucking figure. Now our final story. It's just a clip, and I call it the future because when I saw this and I watched this, I couldn't believe what was happening. So let's just play the whole thing.
Is a guy named Jake Paul. Jake Paul is a great guy, and part of the deal is he said, "Do you mind if I do an interview with you?" I said, "Jake, I'm the president of the United States. I don't do interviews. Look at Joe Biden. He went 2.5 years without doing an interview." But I said, "Jake, I'm president. How can I do your local podcast?"
By the way, he does interviews all the time. He never stops doing interviews. All right, anyway.
He did Rogan.
Yeah, he did Theo Vaughn, for Christ's sake.
But his local podcast is big stuff.
There's no such thing as a local podcast.
Yeah, what do you think this is like? Like those channels small towns have, like Access Television?
He's so old. Local podcast. It's out of Kentucky.
Yeah, by the
Only
way,
people in Kentucky will hear the podcast.
Jake Paul is incredibly famous too, or more infamous, but yeah.
Come on, you got it. This guy has guts, and he walked out with a broken jaw. Anyway, this was not the greatest fight, but you know what? It showed lots of courage. Come here, Jake. Say,
yeah, what Mr. Trump has taught me is courage. We never back down from a fight, even if they're much bigger than you, much, much bigger than.
The guy who got out of Vietnam by faking bone spurs taught you courage.
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh, by the way, Trump, I think, is shrinking. Trump claims to be 6'3", and I believe Jake Paul is only 5'10". And when he got on stage, he was much bigger than him. Interesting.
Interesting. Also, didn't this guy have a broken jaw like 2 months ago?
Yeah, but stupid will persevere.
I was going to say, that's an incredible heal time, having broken a few bones in my day.
Oh, this dude, well, these guys him and his brother lives 50% of the time in Puerto Rico, so they don't have to pay taxes. And they very frequently go to South America and weird places like that to get that stem cell injections and stuff like that. So it can help make you heal faster. Is it unethical? Probably.
Does it work on your eyes?
Yeah, if you want to go drive 2 hours down, I think they do it in Mexico. Get some Tijuana stem cells.
Get some stem cells in my eyes.
Yeah.
More dead babies under my belt. Please, no.
An army of dead babies under your belt now.
All of our voices matter in America, and I'm never afraid to speak the truth, and I know you guys aren't. We are here representing the United States, and it's just a blessing. Thank you. I know God is with us. I know he wants us on the right side of history. And everyone here has to do their part, and God's got us. Trump's got us. God bless. Love you, Kentucky.
Here it comes. Just wait for it.
Now, he's a great guy. He's a courageous guy. And I just want to say, I'm going to make a prediction that you will be, in the not too distant future, running for political office. And you have my complete and total endorsement, okay?
Dear God.
As always, every time we play Trump clips, as of late, I cannot believe how orange he's getting. They are coating it on thicker and thicker because he's getting older and older in order to cover up the elderliness.
Yeah, he's got liver spots, and he's always had a shit diet, so he's probably got bruises all over him from his thin skin and stuff like that.
Yeah, and not to mention the orange paint probably has a deleterious effect on the skin too. So the more you put on, the more you need. It's like, which queen, was it Queen Mary that had so much lead paint that they had to put on more lead paint because the lead paint was destroying her skin. So they just kept putting on more lead paint to the point where she was more lead paint than human being in the end.
And I'm sure that did great things for her brain.
Yeah.
Well, there it is, guys. The future, if you thought the future couldn't get any dumber, we may see a President Jake Paul in the future.
Not me. I'm out of here. Guess where I'm moving if that happens. South Africa.
I hear they treat white people great down there.
I heard it's far less violent.
That's what they're saying.
Man. Why don't you tell people one more time? You have a brand new, what is that behind you? What do you call that?
It's a little banner. I got a little logo, a little banner here for The World is Clyburning. That is my YouTube show. I did not put out a video this week because I'm doing a long form video. I spent 3 fucking hours this week pretending, this is going to sound funny, but follow me here, making accounts as if I was my 13-year-old child and I was getting on both YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and Instagram Reels. And I scrolled for a solid hour just to see what a fresh new page for a kid looks like. And I spent 3 hours doing that. And I got to tell you, I wanted to kill myself. It was one of the worst experiences of my life. And I'm making a video breaking all that down, all my findings. And listen, I'll sum it up as simply as possible when the video comes out next week. Don't let your kids go on social media. Just don't.
Yeah.
Just don't let them.
I would say the same thing.
So
have them listen to this podcast.
What was that?
Have them listen to this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, have them hop over here. We'll get some good information. Probably be sad. But yeah, go subscribe to The World's Clyburning on YouTube and look out for that next week.
And I will say this, join our Patreon at patreon.com/Regilio everything. And let me know if you want a picture of the eye.
It's intense.
I'll post it, but you have to ask for it.
Yeah.
Travis took it better than most.
Yeah, I was like, oh, damn, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Many people have had regretted they asked to see it. It's not not pleasant. Let's put it this way. If the right wingers see it, they'll go, I knew he was the devil.
I knew it. He's got
demon
that devil
eye.
He's a chimera.
All right. Until next week.
Stay safe out there.